Hello everyone, so welcome back to the Tamaracade. I'm doing another Let's Play because I've not done one of these for a while, and this is Garfield for the Atari 2600. It's a game that was never actually released. It was supposed to be released in 1984, but then that never happened due to the video game crash of 1983, which I'm sure you're all aware of, where all the ET cartridges got buried in the desert. So you might be wondering why am I picking this game out of all of them? Well, basically because there's something really quite fascinating about this game. Well, I find it interesting anyway, and that is the fact that it is possible to get such an insanely high score on it. Like, this probably allows for the highest score of any game in the world. If you're wondering how high, well, let me tell you. It's 171 sextillion, 780 quintillion, 156 quadrillion, 936 trillion, 477 billion, 213 million, 815,900 points. Basically, if you were to play this game and get 1,000,000 points a second, it would take you the entire age of the Earth to amass that score. So you might be wondering how exactly that's even possible. As you've seen here, I'm clearly not gaining 1,000,000 points a second, and I'm probably not going to be playing it for the entire age of the Earth, and chances are the person that got that high score didn't do that either, due to the fact that they probably don't have the ability to manipulate space-time continuum in such a way. So, basically, as you see in this game, you just have to jump around, dodge these plant pots, which are just flying about for some reason, and get to the end and rescue Nermal, who's your little cat buddy, and then your score doubles. So each time you go through each set of stages, you double your score, so it sort of has an exponential increase. It still must take ages to get, such a high score as that, 1.71 times 10 to the power of 23. Well, 1.72, sorry, times 10 to the power of 23. Yeah. So anyway, here we are, just jumping along, doing the thing, and for some reason, Odie pops out of that chimney, and if you touch him there, you die. Which is quite strange, really, because I don't think he was supposed to be, murderous, and there you go. So all this game is just like hopping along fences, dodging plant pots, and eating burgers. And that's it. There's really not an awful lot else to this game. So to be honest, I could see why it was cancelled. Because I don't really think you would have been too happy if you had this. So there you go. I'll rescue Normal there. So now back to this stage where, for some reason, everything's doubled. I have no idea why, and it doesn't double your score when you get the burgers, so maybe it's just some kind of glitch. Like I said, this was an unreleased game, and even though earlier on in stages where if you hit OD you die, here you can just jump on loads of them and you're perfectly fine. So it's nice to see that consistency there. So looking in the background, it makes it look like we're in the desert, they just kind of look like sand dunes, which I don't think Garfield's supposed to be set in a desert, but who knows. And also he's more famous for his love of lasagna rather than burgers, but I suppose it's easier to get something that looks like a burger on an Atari 2600 than a lasagna, so I'll let them off. So yeah, you're probably familiar with Garfield. He's a big grumpy orange cat that first appeared in a comic strip by Jim Davis, I believe in 1978. And he's remained popular ever since then, and has had cartoon series and 2 live-action films where he was voiced by Bill Murray. And, of course, video games, including this one. There was also one that was only released in Japan on the Famicom called A Week of Garfield, which has sort of gained some notoriety in recent years as not being a very good game either, but still probably more interesting than this. The hardest part about this game is your own endurance. You've just got to keep playing and just keep going, and yeah, it doesn't get any harder as you go on. So the main problem is that you might sort of just get bored and get a bit cocky and just try and like take these bits too fast, and then you get hit by a plant pot. And then you die, and then, yeah, it's all over, and then you can just continue on with your life like a regular person. Here we go, got 9,500. So, and an interesting thing is that on the Twin Galaxies website, so if you don't know, they're the like authority on game high scores and keep all the world records and stuff. And even though the highest score was that ridiculous number that I mentioned earlier, the 5th place was 1,500. Yeah, quite a bit of a gap between 1st and 5th, and you'll see there that I've beaten that, so that means that I'm now like officially sort of the 5th best Garfield player in the world. So that's a really, you know, quite an impressive accolade to have. I'll go bragging about that to all my friends. Now when they're going on about how they've just got like a new house and a fancy car and all that, and I'll be like, yeah, but I'm the 5th best Garfield player in the world, so, you know, you can shut up with all your bragging. I'd like to see you beat my Garfield score. So yeah, this game is rather dull. You've pretty much seen it all already, so I'll probably be cutting the video short fairly soon. Maybe just going on to the end to where I actually show what score I actually managed to get, because you're probably not going to want to see me hopping along these fences for 3 hours. Although I'm probably not going to play it for 3 hours because I don't hate myself quite that much, so let's see how we go. So there we go, there's my final score, 172,700. So thank you for watching, and until next time, bye!